Welcome to the demo on Remedyforce self-service. In this demo, we are going to look at the functionality of the Remedyforce self-service portal. The self-service portal is used by end users to consume the service catalog, request for catalog items, and perform any other actions that end users are allowed to do in the Remedyforce self-service. So we're going to start by logging in at login.salesforce.com. Once you log into Salesforce, click the Remedyforce Self-Service tab. This is the home page of Remedyforce Self-Service. As you can see on this self-service homepage, we can see the broadcast banner. This is quite similar to the broadcast banner in the console, with the difference that broadcasts that are displayed here are only those that are exposed to self-service. When broadcasts are created in the console, the agent has the option to display that broadcast in self-service. Only those broadcasts that are enabled for displaying in self-service can be displayed here. Next we have the superbox. The superbox is prominently placed in the main canvas. It's the field to search for information within self-service. Next we have got common service requests. Common service requests are all those catalog items that are commonly used by end users. Admins have an interface to choose from the service catalog, and they prepare a list of service requests that will be displayed in this section. Then there are popular self-help articles. These are knowledge articles which are used commonly by within self-service. There's an algorithm in Remedyforce that determines which knowledge articles are displayed in this section. Now both of these sections, common service requests and popular self-help articles, we display the first two rows of tiles, and to view all, click on the all link, and that displays an exhaustive list of all records in that section, whether it's common service requests or popular self-help articles. In the sidebar, we have got other options. Submit a ticket is for submitting a ticket or an incident to Remedyforce. In Remedyforce, we use the term incident in the console. In self-service, we use the term ticket. Then there's request a service. This is to browse through the service catalog and select from the service catalog, request for a catalog item. View self-help articles shows a list of all self-help articles or knowledge articles. Then there's manage approvals. Business users can approve records in Remedyforce, typically service requests, by clicking on manage approvals, and here they will see a list of all their pending approval requests. View my assets is for the end user to view all the assets that have been assigned to them. Typically these would be laptops, desktops, or mobile phones, printers, all those devices and other assets that are assigned to this user that's logged in. And view service health shows you a service health dashboard. It shows you a dashboard of all business services that I, as an end user, which services do I have access to. I can see all those services, and I can not only view those services, I can also view their health. View in my activity is for the user to view all of the records that they have submitted in the past. Drafts is a list of service requests that have been saved as drafts, not yet submitted to the service desk. So let's start with the superbox. From the superbox, you can search for any string. So I search for, I want to order an iPhone, and real time I see the results. In the result sets, you'll see that the result sets are organized in tabs, and there's one tab for each type of records. There's The first tab is service requests, then there are self-help articles, and there are broadcasts. In this case, there are no broadcasts that match this search, and that's why there are no results in the broadcast tab. But once a user sees all these results, they can browse through the results set and click on any item that is relevant. So here I see there's a catalog item to request for an iPhone. If I click on the show more link, I can view the other details that are displayed in the catalog. To request for this item, I simply click on this tile. Now this displays the service request form. In the header, I can see the details of this service request. There's an instructions section. If I click on show more, it shows me all of the instructions. This section can accommodate rich text data, which means that you can have a combination of data that includes hyperlinks. You can format the text to include certain part of the content in bold or italics, as I've done here. Now here these instructions are repetitive, but I've done that just to show what happens when the instruction section is too long. You can click on any link in the instructions. So here I can view the policy associated with this service request. Once I'm done, I can click back on the show less link and I can proceed to enter the form. It also shows me some other details such as the price of this device, and there are a few fields on this form. It asks me for the date that I want to request this phone. So I enter the date as roughly 3 weeks from now. Then I can click on submit. If I click on save draft, it will simply save this service request as a draft, not submitted, and I'll have the option of reviewing this service request with all the details that I've filled in so far, review them, and then submit it at a later date. So I'll submit this request now. A service request has been submitted and I've been returned a record number. Next, let's search for one more string here. Let's say I've not received a scheduled report that I expect to receive every week. I'm going to search for that string here. When I browse through the results, I can see some service requests. I can see a few knowledge articles, but none of these results seem to be relevant to the information I'm searching. So here I have the option of submitting a ticket. I can submit a ticket right here from the footer, and clicking on that submit ticket button shows me a form, the ticket submission form. Not only that, my search string is automatically copied in the description field. I can also enter other fields on this form. So I can enter the urgency. I can enter a category, but it's not a required field. Notice that here another pop-up appears and it's titled Smart Suggestions. Now what are Smart Suggestions? Depending on the way I have entered data on this form, typically fields like category and description, Smart Suggestions are populated real time based on an algorithm that determines the best resources in the system that may be relevant to fulfilling this request. Now based on this search string, it shows me these results. Let's see what happens if I change this. Let's see if I enter the description as I want to reset my password. Now the list of smart suggestions has been refreshed and I can readily see a catalog item for password reset. Now instead of submitting this ticket, if I click on this password reset catalog item, This is a more structured way of submitting that request. It automatically fills in a few fields such as the category. It has prompted me to enter a few more details on this ticket. So details such as account name, account ID. If I were to submit the ticket right there without entering these details, then the service desk agent would have to contact me to request for these details. So it's always good for an end user to select a smart suggestion, especially a catalog item that's relevant for that specific need. It's also automatically populated the urgency as high. I can add any attachments. By clicking on the add attachments button, I can pick up any attachments or files from my desktop and submit the request. A ticket has been submitted. Now let's look at the sidebar options. If you click on submit a ticket, it directly shows the submit ticket form. And I've already explained how to enter this ticket form, so I'm going to skip the rest of this, but let's go ahead. Request a service is the option that allows me to browse through the service catalog. I can see the common service request, something that's also displayed on the home page. I can also see that here under request a service. And I can also see a button, browse categories. When I click on that, it shows me the service catalog, and it actually shows me a category tree. The entire catalog is organized by categories. Here I have the option, or I have a way to browse through the category tree and select an appropriate service. So here I can select an appropriate category and related to that category. Now it shows me all the service requests or the catalog items which are related to that category. So here's this one service request for requesting application access. I click on request application access and enter the relevant details on this form. And now I click on save draft. When I save the service request as a draft, it saves the request in the draft section. The counter here was 1 previously, now it has increased to 2. If I click on the drafts button, it shows me all those requests that I have saved as a draft. You'll see one that I had saved earlier and one that I just saved. If I click on this, I can review all the details on this form. I can change any details or fill in any additional fields, and then I can submit this request. If a draft request is no longer required, I can also delete it. In view self-help particles, I can see all the self-help particles organized by categories. If I click on any tile for a category, I can see all the self-help particles under that category. Now these records, there are two ways of ordering them. One is by popularity, which appears to be the default, and second is by title, by ascending order of the title of the knowledge articles. If I click on any self-help article, it displays the self-help article. There's an option to maximize the window so that I have to scroll less, and I can view the entire knowledge article. In the footer of this record, I have an option of rating this knowledge article, so I can rate it as helpful, not helpful, or if it appears to be outdated, I can request for an update. I can enter any text comment, answer this question, did this article meet your need, and submit it. In manage approvals, I see a list of all records that are waiting for my approval. These records are displayed on a timeline, so I can see the most recently submitted records first, followed by older records. Now, every record card shows minimal details. If I want to view more details, I can click on the show details link and it shows me more details about that request. I also have the option of clicking on the show record link, and doing so shows all the details on the record form. If I click on the details section, I can view every field, the response to every field on this form. I can also view the approval section and view details of other approvals. Clicking on approval history displays the history of approval. So it shows what other approvers have done on this request. It's possible that certain records may have multiple approvals depending on how the approval process has been set up. A record may have one or more approvals. So this shows me an audit trail of approvals, which approvers have approved, which ones are pending, and what approval comments were entered by previous approvers. To approve a record, I can click on the approve reject link, enter a comment, and then I can click on approve or reject. I can also approve multiple records at a time. If I select two or more records, I can approve both of them at one time. I can also reassign records. If I want to reassign a single record, I would click on the reassign link for that record, and this allows me to reassign it to another user. And the option to reassign is also available when I select multiple records and click on reassign. To select all records displayed here, I can click on select all. So let's go ahead and approve one record from this list. I've approved record number 179, and now you'll see that that record no longer appears in the list of pending approvals. View my assets shows all the assets assigned to me, and every asset appears as a card. So I can see there's a smartphone, a printer, and a laptop that have been issued to me. If I click on show details, it displays a few more details about that asset. The related tickets link shows me a list of all tickets that have been submitted for that asset, and these records are displayed on the timeline with the most recent records displayed first. Clicking on any record card displays all the other details of that ticket, and it allows me to add any note and perform other actions like copying or closing the ticket. I also have an option of submitting a ticket right from here. When I submit a ticket from here, Remedyforce automatically relates this asset with the incident. And although that link is not apparent to me as a user, it will be clearly visible to the agent when they view this incident on the console. So I can come here and describe my issue and submit it. Next is service health. The service health dashboard shows a list of all business services accessible to me. It also shows the health of every business service. Not only that, the health of every business service can be identified from the overlay icon here. So this icon indicates that these services, email and messaging services, facility management, fidelity, these are available. Then there are some services like FTP EDI service and supply chain management that are disrupted. And there are two services, procurement management and ADP. Procurement management and ADP are disrupted, whereas FTP EDI service and supply chain management are degraded. I can also search for any string here. So that shortens the list here. I can also filter by status. If I just choose degraded, it shows me the degraded services, disrupted, and others. There are two tabs here, current and future. The current tab displays the current health of all business services. The future tab shows the status in the future. This can happen if there's planned maintenance for any business service. Like for example, there appears to be some maintenance plan on email and messaging services. This appears in the future. If I click on this tile, it displays the details. So if I if I come back to the current tab, I can view the details of the health of any of the services displayed here. So let's click on ADP. Let's see what's wrong with the ADP service. It shows that the service is disrupted and the disruption started on this date and time. It tells me that there was an unplanned service disruption. The root cause of this disruption is not yet known, but I can see in a table that there are updates provided by the service desk. So this update tells me that the service is expected to be available in the next 30 minutes. I can subscribe to updates to this one also. So when any other updates are entered here in this table by the service desk, I'll be notified by email. Clicking on the history button displays a list of recent outages on this business service. If Remedyforce chat is enabled, it allows the end user to chat with a service desk agent. We're not going to cover chat in this demo. Now let's come to My Activity. So click on View in My Activity to view all the records that you've submitted earlier. In the sidebar, it shows the profile photo of the user, and there's an option of updating or uploading another photo here. I can also click on the username link, and doing that brings up the My Profile page. Here I can make any changes to my profile and save those changes. I also have a link to draft requests from here. And now in the main section, I can see all my previously submitted records ordered by time, ordered in a timeline, and every record is displayed by a record card. There's a filter here to filter on types of records, so I can filter on tickets, or I can filter on service requests. I can also filter on status. When I filter on status, so here I've filtered on just waiting for customer, it just shows me those records that are marked as waiting for customer. You'll also notice that it's only these records that are flagged, and this flag indicates that these records are waiting for my action. The service desk is waiting for me to respond. Maybe they've provided a solution and are waiting for me to acknowledge it, or there's more information that they've requested that I have yet to provide them. I can also search here, especially if I'm searching for an old ticket which I don't remember when I had created it, what it was. I can search for it here. So I search for the word international and it returns me an incident that I had submitted related to my international travel. I can also view tickets that I've submitted for myself, and the others tab displays tickets that I've submitted on behalf of others. This typically happens if I submit a ticket on behalf of my teammate, or typically another common use case is an admin assistant submits incidents on behalf of their manager. Clicking on any record card displays the details of that record. Clicking on the details section here brings up all the responses to that service request. I can view any approvals and so on. Now here this is a service request that has been closed. That's why I have this option of reopen. If I click on reopen, it will reopen that service request. Copy will create a new service request from this one. If I open an incident, there are other options. So here there's no reopen option, but there's an option to copy this incident or close the ticket. If I no longer require this issue, then I can resolve it and click on close. I can also download this list of records as a CSV file. And it shows me in my browser search history, it will show me the downloaded file which I can open. On any ticket, I can also go to the notes section and add a note here. That brings us to the end of this demo on Remedyforce self-service.